question. So really, I had the desire to box or to do MMA. It was before I was really like a Christian, and I just always had like a desire inside to just kind of fight. I don't know what it was. It was just something that I felt like would come easy if I got taught by the right person. But it really kicked in when I went to see my wife's cousin box. It was his first pro debut, and it just struck a fire in me that was like, I could do that. And you know, we tried to get in different like gyms and whatnot, but there just weren't any that were close by. And you know, it was a desire. It was a genuine desire to box. And one day, actually, when I was coming home from a Christian fellowship group on Wednesday evening, I was driving by and I seen a heavy bag in a window, and there was like a guy in there. And so I turned around and I stopped and went inside and talked to him. He turned out to be the coach and the owner of the gym, and he just moved here. He opened the gym, and he just was starting there, so he didn't have a lot of people or anything like that. He had one fighter, but he didn't have that many people, so I was like the second person to be in the gym. I thought it was a sign from God at the time. I thought he was giving me a desire, a blessing, you know, just something that I desired. And you know, I started pursuing it. I went in, I just started practicing and training and growing and doing lots of sparring. I mean, throughout training, it never really became 100% like this is what I'm training for, like to be a champion. It wasn't in my mind. I wasn't set on that thought process just because I still had Christian morals at the time, so I was fighting a different kind of fight. And I never really had it in my mind to like become a champion necessarily. It was just kind of, you know, whatever happens, happens. You know, if I become a champion, if I become a pro, I'll deal with it when I get to that point. But I definitely did come in there saying I want at least one legit amateur fight, and I got a couple of them. So for my first fight, there was an opportunity where my Christian morals were tested. You know, the guy who I was fighting, his contact lens fell out. And you know, I had all the opportunity to hit him right then and there, but it was like, you know, something inside of me was like, look out for this guy's well-being, look out for him. You know, my morals kicked in, they were overpowered. And I looked at the ref and I told him, I was like, hey, his contact lens is out, his contact lens is out. And everybody, you could hear everybody in the crowd being like, oh, you know, don't worry about that, don't worry about that, and all this kind of stuff. And even the fighter, he thought I was trying to bluff or something, you know, trying to distract him. But, you know, the ref stopped it for a minute and made him fix his contact lens, and then we resumed. You know, I lost that fight, but, you know, some guy came up to me and he said, you know, I seen something different in there, you know. So there's certain things that people see, you know. It's not always what you see on the TV and everything. Okay, this guy is the one who fights and he's got to win, he's got to have all the money and stuff. You know, boxing became a little bit more deeper than just winning or losing to me that day. And, you know, it was a struggle with my Christian morals at the time, and fighting, you know, hitting people. Like, you got to have it in your mind, in the back of your mind, you got to be a humble person. You got to be, your intentions don't want to be, hey, I'm going to seriously hurt you. And those weren't my intentions. There was times, very few times, I I could feel the flesh coming over, and I still have thoughts sometimes. That's just something that I don't know if it'll go away, but that's just the part of, fighting. It becomes a part of you a little bit. So some eternal struggles I went through while boxing. Every week we sparred, and I remember the first time I sparred, it was frustrating. I didn't know what I was doing, and the guy who was sparring against me was kind of bullying me a little bit, and it got me mad. And then that gets me to start to swing harder out of anger and rage or whatever, but I never did give up. I just kept pursuing and kept sparring every weekend, and this happened over a year's worth of time. And over that year's worth of time, I started developing self-control, not only with my temper and anger, but self-control with my adrenaline. What happens when I get hit, or what happens when just my reaction to certain, I guess you'd say, I don't know, just my reaction. So my intentions, I morally felt right. I didn't think I was doing anything wrong. My mind wasn't doing this just so I can beat people up, but it was more becoming like, it just became a part of me, it just became a natural thing. And, I struggled with even talking to people there, because I didn't cuss. I didn't do certain things that they do, or look at certain boxers like the superstars and stuff and idolize them. I try to be a light, I try to be a genuine light, and I thought that this is how we can do it, and also it's something that I love. And I had thoughts, if I did go pro or become a champion, what I would do with all my money. I would try to do the right thing. I wouldn't let, the best of my ability, I wouldn't let the consumption of all that popularity come to my head, And that was something that, as I was boxing, I would process. I would try to process, not always winning too, but at the same time, I trained hard. I sparred, I trained. There was a day I cried. I cried a lot after I got done sparring. It finally hit me all at once, because I never palad to Yah about what I was doing at the time, and it was a frustrating day. I was getting hit a lot, and it was just started to get frustrating, and everything hit me all at once, and I believe that was from him. It was because of him. But I got on my knees and I palad in the ring, in the middle of the ring, and I laid down and I just was crying. I was just so emotionally overwhelmed with things outside of boxing and my spiritual life, and still was going through struggles of not having people to talk to, and now struggles of like not being a bad person but keeping my Christian morals. And I was going through just a lot of spiritual attacks and just up and down roller coaster of emotions, and I just finally laid it down, and I said to him, I was like, Yahuah, I was like, if this is not for me, I'll hang up the gloves, but if it is, I was like, you'll make me a champion. It was just had to let it go right then and there, or he'll make me to what he wants me to be, and that's it, because to be honest, he means a lot more to me. And oddly enough, he allowed me 2 more fights. I was able to get 2 more fights. I tested the waters to see if Christians can be boxers. Me personally, I don't think you can. I don't think it's possible. I believe the deeper you go with Yahuah and the truth, you're not supposed to be a part of this world, nor take note in the things of it, let alone pursue boxing as a career. I personally don't think you can. There's deeper reasons, but that's for something on a personal level to somebody to pull off for. He could use anybody, but for me personally, he didn't want me to be a boxer. And the proof was the Sabbath. That was when me and my wife were doing studies, and she found out that we need to keep the Sabbath. And I started keeping the Sabbath, and all the tournaments and amateur fights and all the good stuff, they happen on Saturdays. So in the back of my mind, I was just automatically thinking that, yeah, this is just not going to work. I'll never be able to have a fight again. And let alone getting up to high levels and having to fight based off of money and compromise. Yeah, it's just not going to be a good idea. It's too much stress. After I figured out all of the truth about the Sabbath, and now I'm struggling between choosing the cares of the world versus what Yahuah wants. I was actually already signed up for another amateur fight, and I had to go to my coach finally and tell him, hey, I'm not going to be doing this no more, you know, and it did hurt because he invested a lot of time into me. You know, you invest in the people who are real about certain things, and I didn't want to do it, but, you know, Yahuah is a lot more important to me than boxing, so it wasn't that bad. And he understood. He was saying, oh, I know people too that keep the Sabbath, and he actually said, what did he say? I'm sorry. He said, oh yeah, he said that you'll be back. He said, you'll be back here in a short time or something like that, like a year. And I was just like, all right, you know. Walking away from boxing, I don't feel like it was a regret. I feel like it was a test. I feel like it was a broader opportunity to not only prove to Yahuah I love him more than my circumstances or the vanity of things that are on this planet that we can consume ourselves in, but I actually was able to see where I was at too with my eternal self, with my morals. You know, what do I truly have? Hate in me is what I learned. Do I truly have love for my enemy is what I learned. I also learned, you know, self-defense. I mean, I don't believe there's nothing wrong with self-defense, but it's just how you consume it. I don't believe you should be doing it for the intent to harm somebody. But I mean, I did learn boxing. It's already in me, so I mean, there's nothing I can really do about it. To be honest, I would advise you more to trust Yahuah over all things, over guns. I don't even believe in keeping guns. I trust in Yahuah. He will lead and guide us into all truth. He will protect us, and that's what I need.
What about a rock and a slingshot?
Well, if he arms you, if Yahuah arms you with the weapons like a rock and a slingshot, I mean, go for it. But that's from Yahuah. I don't know. Like the boxing, I thought it was Christian-like to be Christian in the environment of boxing, and that you can intermingle both of them. You know, you can intermingle the cares of the world with Yahuah, and he doesn't want it. He wants us all for himself. And praise Yahuah that he used the scriptures to pull me out. I watched a short testimony from whom Yahusha chose, and it was his testimony and how he was transitioned into a Christian, you know, from the world and things that were bad that we used to do. And it resonated me so much that that's the same story I had. I came out of the bad. Now I'm a Christian. Now I want to be that light in the things that I desire and I want to do. For his case, it was I believe it was a tattoo shop, a Christian-based tattoo shop, trying to be a light still. And Yahuah, he convicted him on that, and you know, and he knew he wasn't supposed to do it. But it's the grace that was shown to him through the Word. It was through the Word that brought him out of this way that we can think that's good. And it was actually I think it was the verse about not tattooing yourself was what convicted him on to not do this tattoo stuff, and he had to put it all away. He's got a song about it, and I know how that struggle feels. That was a desire. That was a thing that you think that you're doing good for Yahuah. The best example I can give, I believe it was King David, don't quote me on this, but they got done sieging a village or a city, and Yahuah specifically told them, do not take nothing from this city. You need to destroy everything. And he took it upon himself to save the animals, to sacrifice them to Yahuah, thinking in his mind it was good. So sometimes we can think that we are doing things good for Yahuah, and we think that we have the right sacrifice, so to say, and we may have the right intentions, but Yahuah didn't ask that. He wants it to all be gone. He wants us to listen to him completely because he knows best. Looking back, I didn't lose the fight by quitting boxing, but I believe I won a greater fight, and that's with Yahuah and being with him. I believe I saved my sanity. I believe I saved my health, my brain for sure. I remember there was a time I actually got concussed, and that was by one that got me into boxing in the first place. But yeah, it was bad, and I don't recommend that. But man, I really didn't lose nothing. There's nothing here on this planet you can lose, unless if you're walking away from Yahuah. If you're holding on to a dream that's not from Yahuah, I believe you need to surrender it. If it's not from Yahuah, if it's not in his will, it needs to be surrendered, as hard as it may be. And that goes for me too. I don't know what it is. I applaud to Yahuah that it's not something so deep that it's gonna hurt. You know, I applaud that I would be spared from that. But if you are holding on to a dream, like in my case, boxing, it's just not worth it. It's not worth holding on to that versus losing your soul. I would recommend plowing to Yahuah if anything is of him or for his will. For me, I didn't do that. You know, I didn't plow to Yahuah about boxing because I was scared. I was scared he was going to say no about my dream, about being a boxer, about my desire, my desire to box. And I postponed that for a while. He's so patient and he's loving, and he allowed me to do it. But he also brought about an opportunity for me to choose still, and that's by his grace and his mercy. And praise Yahuah that I still chose him and I didn't pursue boxing. But I would advise anybody who has a desire for something that's of this world, I would advise you to try to channel those talents and to fight a different fight, to fight the good fight of faith, to fight for Yahuah, to allow him to fight for you, and to channel those talents and to use them for the kingdom of Yahuah, and to pull to him, what do you want me to use my talents for? What do you want me to use the mental capacity that I carry and that I can channel into anything I put my hands to, and that I can complete it and do it? What do you want me to use that amazing free will for your glory? Would be the best advice. Rumamu Yahuah! Rumamu Yahuah!
Why would you send your son for the one you knew would run far away from you? Still you chose me. I ran far, I ran so fast, my flesh had to get away from you. I hated dressing up, cleaning up a cup, acting like just the exterior will do. I'd rather choose a love for you, liberty, spikes, and a pair of bulky boots. I was loving the things of the world more than your word. Being taught by man just made me more confused. I had it all, pretty much just about every single thing. And when I'd fall, a little more of this world seemed to cure every tear it would bring. I tried to stand tall, I started reaching for you. I knew that I should, I hated my evil, I wanted your good. And all of my life was misunderstood. How can you love your son? How can you be so good one? Why would you wait from me after all I've done? I'm so terrible. How can you love your son? How can you be so good one? Why would you wait from